Hello, friends. This story comes from Stories Worth Rereading, published in 1913 originally by the Review and Herald Publishing Association, and next by AB Publishing. I'd like to read the story called The Reprimand. At the sound of Mr. Troy's bell, Eleanor Graves vanished into his private office. 10 minutes later, she came out with a deep flush on her face and tears in her eyes. He lectured me on the spelling of a couple of words and a mistake in a date, she complained to Jim Forbes. Anybody's liable to misspell a word or two in typing, and I know I took the date down exactly as he gave it to me. Jim looked uncomfortable. I would not mind, he said awkwardly. We all have to take it some time or other. Besides, he glanced hesitatingly at the pretty, indignant face. I suppose the boss thinks we ought not to make mistakes. As if I wanted to, Eleanor retorted stiffly. But she worked more carefully the next week, for her pride was touched. Then with restored confidence came renewed carelessness, and an error crept into one of the reports she was copying. The error was slight, but it brought her a sharp reprimand from Mr. Troy. It was the second time, he reminded her, that she had made that blunder. At the reproof, the girl's face flushed painfully and then paled. If my work is not satisfactory, you had better find someone who can do it better, she said. Whirling around in his swivel chair, Mr. Troy looked at her. He had really never noticed his latest stenographer before, but now his keen eyes saw many things that showed him she came from a home where she had been petted and cared for. How long have you been at work? He asked. This is my first position, Eleanor answered. Mr. Troy nodded. I understand. Now, Miss Graves, let me tell you something. You have many of the qualities of a good businesswoman. You are punctual. You are not afraid of work. You are fairly accurate. I have an idea that you take pride in turning out a good piece of work. But you must learn to stand criticism and profit by it. We must all take it sometime, every one of us. A weakling goes under. A strong man or woman learns to value it, to make every bit of it count. That is what I hope you will do. Eleanor braced herself to meet his eyes. If you will let me, I will try again, she said. And that was originally published in the Youth Companion.